Welcome to the Professor of Perseverance podcast. I'm Dr. James Perdue, the Professor of Perseverance himself. Day 2, September 2nd, Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month. And the person I have today, we kind of discussed maybe they ought to change the name to Spinal Cord Prevent Injury Awareness. But we'll get into that here in a few minutes. But we kind of talked about that a little bit last year. Of course, like I said, no one listened to me about anything. So let's go ahead and get started so we can move on, get y'all fired up today. So the podcast guest today, a retired coach from baseball and football, an award-winning educator, married, and has 2 children. Want to welcome to the show. Let me get up and get ready, Mike. Let me push that button, Morrow. There you are, baby.
Hey, I'm here.
Mike. Look like you somewhere over there. You got a school ground background right there.
That's right. I'm back in the classroom today. I've been back here. It's our first week back in the building.
Oh, from all this COVID stuff, huh?
That's exactly right. We've been doing remote teaching from about an hour and I've been about an hour and a half away. So back in the building now, and everybody's wearing masks. Nobody's in here right now, so I've got my mask off. It's a welcome relief.
I don't like putting the mask on long enough to go into Walmart. I don't even when I'm sleeping in bed and I cover up because I get cold. I don't like feeling my breath hitting the blanket and bouncing back on me.
That's
so I don't like it. So then I actually bought one of those shields put over there. And that was worse than the mask.
I've got one of those here on the desk. If I decide to do that, I'm sticking. I'll stick with my mask.
I bought that shield and I tried it. I was going, man, it's harder on my face because now your whole face is covered, not just your nose and mouth. So yeah, I would revert back to the mask.
Up on you, fogs up. It's rough. I'm telling you.
So. Well, there used to be a song back in the 60s. Mama said they be days like this. So, all right, look here. We got Nancy in early. Hey, Nancy. There you go. Glad you're in, Nancy. Appreciate you. Nice Siamese cat there. So, thank you for coming in. All right, Mike. Let's go ahead and get started with this, Bubba.
All right.
This is spinal cord injury awareness. And again, I think it ought to be prevent. I won't say that all month. If I say that now, that doesn't mean I won't do it all month. But but they should take the stories of everybody they can find and push them out there. And it's not to brag how good I've done, but if I was drinking and if I wasn't drinking and driving, I may not be where I'm at today.
Yeah.
I know one girl that she got hit by a drunk driver, her family did, and everybody in the car walked out except for her. She got paralyzed. And so I don't know what you would say about that one, because that was by another drunk driver. You couldn't say, well, if I wouldn't been on that street. I mean, you got to be there anyway. So I don't know, but still, I was diving in a shallow area when I shouldn't have been diving. So, I was playing football. I quit. I decided to come back for one more play. If I'd have kept going, where'd I be today? So, we could use this to help other people, just, and nothing else, think and evaluate for some of the situations. But you also don't want people living and walking on eggshells. What if I do this, could this happen?
Exactly.
So, Mike, if you go and start and tell us your story.
Okay. Well, mine kind of started back, I guess, when I was in college. Had always managed to do pretty good through high school. Didn't partake of alcohol. Wasn't a drinker in high school, and got a college baseball scholarship. Ended up playing baseball at East Tennessee State University, and had a lot of great times. Basically, as far as alcohol consumption, that's where the wheels came off. So I guess my paralysis story starts in way back 1985. Had a car. Matter of fact, today's yesterday, 35 years yesterday, September 1, 1985. So I at that time became a low rider, but I've tried to turn that around into a positive. What just one positive is just not wearing a seatbelt. It was not the law at the time, and I didn't have on a seatbelt. And thank God, had just dropped a buddy of mine off at an apartment and was heading back and ran off, hit a tree on the passenger side, threw me out the back passenger window, and ended up a T11, 12 paraplegic, had some broken ribs, some brain damage. I did have a minor head injury, and was taken to the hospital there in Johnson City. Stayed there for what was stabilized, transferred to Vanderbilt. Had my surgery, had a spinal fusion, like I said, T11, T12, paraplegic spinal fusion at Vanderbilt. And don't remember any of that time. Into the school, the night of the wreck, whatever. I mean, everything is, there's nothing there. I mean, all the only memories I have, I've accumulated over the years of my teammates or whoever or whatever reminding me of what happened. But the first thing I remember post accident was basically being wheeled out these big double doors and going over to the Vanderbilt rehab. And it's like, okay, the big doors open. I'm wheeled out on a gurney into the sunshine. And it's like, okay, God turned the light back on and said, okay, you're back now. What are you going to do? And
so you're saying you hadn't come out and said it, but you're meaning that you had some brain injury.
Correct.
TBI.
Right. You know, that end of the summer. I mean, even earlier memories, temporary stuff. It's all just kind of garbled up in there. The long term stuff is all still there, but since then. Short-term memory is still a struggle. It's still a struggle on top of just getting older, but then on having that on top of it, I think contributes to it. But, you know, I was in the hospital, I was in rehab, and got to come home for Thanksgiving of '85. So as far as September through Thanksgiving of 1985, that's kind of my trauma period when everything got started. Came back home, had to get another car, had to get it equipped with hand controls. Mom and Dad were very gracious, scrambled, they've got a 2-story house. I'd always been upstairs. They were very kind. More or less, I've got an apartment situation now downstairs, bedroom, full bath, shower, and all that now. So that worked out. That was a big blessing to have that at the time, and just worked out very well. And since then, I got out. It took me a few months to kind of get my feet back on the ground, so to speak, and went back to school, graduated at MTSU. I was scared to go back up to East Tennessee State. That was 300 miles away from home. New on wheels, and I loved it up there. I loved the people up there. I loved my school, my teammates, but I just couldn't pull that one off. So I ended up going back to school at MTSU, graduated, got my undergrad. There again, God arranges things, I believe, puts things in order. Things happen for a reason. One of the professors at MTSU had actually applied or was in the process of applying for the job, and his MTSU position opened up, so he took that. But he informed me about the job at the Tennessee Rehab Center, and that's how I came about getting that job. And then, so I was there. I loved TRC. Was there. You came to my first classes. Was there for 10 years. Was happy. Not really out looking for a job or anything like that. But I got a call from the principal, who at the TRC at the time was now over here in Williamson County, as an assistant superintendent, called me, just left a voicemail that didn't know if I'd be interested, but wanted to know that there was a teaching position open with computers, and I'd be able to possibly coach baseball. So, hey, gave a notice, came over here, interviewed, and got the job, and I've been here ever since, and that was 21 years ago. So I've been total teaching now about 31 years, going on 32. So it's been a while. But
it's been what they say, a day or two, huh?
Do what?
It's been what they say, a day or two.
It's just a few.
Or what the young folks say, it's been a minute. The young folks.
Yeah.
So, hey, Jan Fansler, she said, yeah, you're still a buck in her book.
Right. There you go. Go Bucks.
All right. Now, Mike, you mentioned T11, T12. That means lower back area, thoracic area, but lower back. And were you what's called a complete or incomplete?
Complete.
All right. And complete means?
Basically, was told by the doctor you didn't sever your spinal cord, but for all practical purposes, you might as well have, and basically out of commission from the waist down. So,
yeah,
I've still got full upper extremity function. So,
from where the injury takes place, it's from that level down that's affected, and from that level the injury up, it's so-called normal.
Correct.
For example, your lower back, you have all your upper body strength, arms, shoulders, stomach, chest, back, from there. Where me, I don't have fingers hardly moving. I do have good shoulders. I don't have triceps. I got decent biceps. So,
right.
They've got another one here named Jelly Duck.
All righty. Hey there.
Hey, Jelly Duck. Hey, bud. Thanks for coming in. So, all right, Mike. Now, here's a question. And we're all different, so there's no right or wrong answer. You ever tell a student that there's no right or wrong answer, but you know there's a wrong answer? When they give a question, they give an answer, you go, you said anything but that, and it would have been all right, but no, you had to go there. No, Mike, there's no right or wrong answer. But did you at any point when you got hurt right off the bat, a year later, 5 years later, 30 years later, been through a depression, and do you fight it back and forth? Or do you have one good depression you're done with?
I would probably say no, as far, because I consider depression, as far as a diagnosis depression, I consider that's pretty strong. And I often thought about that at the time, even a year or 2, 3 there at the start, why I didn't do that. And maybe it was that period that I was out of commission mentally. Maybe that was my time to get that sorted out or tucked back or whatever, because I never, I'd gone from being, a D1 athlete. I mean, I was out there. I mean, I was playing ball with the big boys. I mean, guys that got drafted, and we were good ball players. And I often question myself of just, why didn't you get mad? Just throw stuff, yell, scream, whatever. And I never went through that I'm aware of. Now, probably maybe during that time period I did, but now there were times when, it was, I would say frustrated. Frustrated was probably more of my emotion, and especially revolving my bowel management program. I mean, for me, and like you said, it's different for everyone. But for me, oh my God, that was a nightmare. And I still suffer some trouble with it, and every now and then. And it's just that in itself has probably been the greatest obstacle during the whole thing. I mean, forget, riding around in a chair. I mean, I get grabbers. If I need to reach something high, I can ask something about whatever. But that personal, really no control, at the mercy of medication, suppository stimulation, all that variable, depending on your diet, alcohol intake, liquid intake, whatever. I mean, it's just so many variables that can throw it in there, and not having the sensation. I mean, it just, there's so many things that can go wrong. And, that was my greatest obstacle to the whole period, and still is.
I think Nancy's answer the question here. Do you think the reason why you never got that way, I'm assuming depressed, and yeah, I think you briefly mentioned that, is because of the brain damage?
During that time period, I think so. I mean, of course, there was healing that took place, and I at Vanderbilt, I think they said I was back at second, third grade reading level, I think initially, but I went back. I mean, I got my undergrad degree and a master's degree college afterwards. So it's returned the skill level, the retention is still very, very difficult. I mean, if it's just something set off the cuff and whatever, it's in one ear, out the other, and it's gone, and it's not gonna. I won't remember it.
Now, you talked a second ago, about your bowel movements and program and everything. I don't get asked as much like I used to, but if there was a research out there to learn to walk again, would you do that? I think now I would want more research and done on having a bowel program working as normal as possible and urinating as normal as possible, and cut down the UTIs.
Right.
Definitely. I think that would be a miracle more than the walking at this point.
Yeah. And say as far as my catheterization, self-catheterization, that really hadn't been that much of a problem for me. Now I do get UTIs occasionally, but mine, I mean, so far, I mean, I'm still treating with the same medication as I did when I first came out of the hospital. I took Scepter DS, and it still knocks it out 10 or 12 days, and and I'm done. I know when it is. I know what's happening. I can call the doctor, get a prescription, and I'm good to go. So in that regard, see, I've been very fortunate. So I mean, there again, it's different for everybody.
Yeah. Now, do you think also having a strong support system may also help with, not fading into a depression area? Not to say a frustration, because that's still going to happen, because you being an athlete, you can't do what you used to do. But do you think having a strong support system, and what is your support system if you have one?
Yes, I think that's extremely critical. My family, mom, dad, my brothers, relative, when I came home, I mean, of course, they were nervous. Everybody was scared. None of us knew what we were doing, but they did the best they could, and it really, in the end, it really, really, really worked out well. I mean, it was an excellent setup, and there again, I guess divine intervention and everything taking place with the planning and the creating and the building and whatever. But it all came together. My family, and then afterwards, later through school, my friends, my class, my teammates. My teammates were huge. Later got married after starting my first job. Married. I've got 2 children now. Nathan is 21. And my daughter has just turned 16, is a junior in high school, and Nathan's back at Columbia State and is working as well. So he's taking on double dibs right there, and they're doing fine. And my wife really did a good, supportive, what I needed, and things worked out there. My teammates were very, very strong with me. We're still strong. We've got a tight bond. It's amazing. That was 35 years ago. and one of them, Roger just had a birthday today. We got a text group going. We've got together up in Gatlinburg in Sevierville for the last three years, I think. I've gotten together, just try to schedule around the NCAA tournament time. We just hang out there at the condo and just commune and fellowship with each other. It's a real good thing, and I commend them a lot for helping me out as well.
Now, Mike, I wasn't going to put you on the spot like this, but Jan, she's doing it. So, who's been the most dedicated support?
I'd say my parents.
I would agree with that one. That because parents are when they're the longest, longer than the marriage, longer than the children. I would suggest that one, and or definitely God. So, but again, even if you go with just parents only, God is one put you with them parents
exactly
beforehand because He knew you needed them during His time.
That's true. So,
now, Mike, I've known you for what did it say, a minute to some young folks again. Known you for a minute, like you mentioned TRC earlier. That's Tennessee Rehabilitation Center, and he taught business over there. And so I went over there to learn bookkeeping. I got a bookkeeping certificate 1 and 2. I liked it so much, and don't use it, but it's on the wall over here. Both certificates on the wall right there, but don't use them. But I met Mike there, and we became friends. And one thing I think that attracted me to you, one, you got injured in what year?
85.
85. I was 83. So even though I was a little older in the injury, you're a little older than me. Mm-hmm. And seeing how you was able to handle your situation and get to a teaching position. So how do you stay positive, motivated during, how many other people would have gone, this is not what I bargained in for, and I'm just going to lay around and they'll lay around and do nothing. Yeah. So what gave you the strength to want to do better for your life?
I contribute that to just my history as an athlete and competitiveness. To me, I mean, this was just another something to defeat, and I like to win. I don't like to lose, and I think that played a big part in it. Now, like I said, at times there were, some extreme frustrations, and there were thoughts about suicide. I don't hide that was there, of which this is also Suicide Month. I've heard that on the news, I think last night. So that's Suicide Awareness Month or something. So that's
sad thing about every month is representing 10,000 things. So people pick and choose. Exactly. July donut of the month, the coffee of the month. I mean, so they represent 10,000 things. You just pick and choose one you want. So I didn't know suicide was on this month, but I can do a topic on that one. We can do that another day.
Exactly. So that came across, but I think just there again, the competitiveness, competition, not going to be beat. I can handle this. I can do this. I can succeed at this, and that's what
again, you go back to your competitive nature as an athlete. Now this is a different competition.
Exactly.
And we're out to beat it,
exactly.
To the best of our ability.
Exactly.
My friend, John Bentley. Thank you for coming in, John.
Hello.
John, he's an awesome man. If y'all need a speaker, we'll get hold to him. He come fire them kids up for you. So he's awesome. So get him to do the Coca-Cola thing with you. So if you get a hold of him. All right, Mike, I think we're about to wrap this up, man. This is good. I just want to make it short and sweet this time because I'm trying to get so many of them this month, 20 to 30 of them this month. So I'd like to get them short and sweet this time. But if you can leave us with a positive message to fire someone up that's struggling and get them through today, what message can you leave us with?
Well, this is where I tried to make some notes here and try, because this to me this is important. And this got me through. And there again, God places people in certain situations at certain times, and I don't remember her name. I've forgotten at the head thing, but there was a girl in the hospital in the same time I was at Vanderbilt that she was, I believe, 13 years old at her 13th birthday, riding in the back of a pickup truck at a birthday party out on the country road, which probably everybody at our older age has done at some point, sometime. Went around the curve, toppled out, real high level, C3, C2, C3, I mean, a real high level injury, quadriplegic. And she was in the room next to me at Vanderbilt. And so any time I started having any kind of pity party, all I had to do was focus on her. And I mean, you know, there was no fault there. I mean, she was a young teenager celebrating a milestone in her life, toppled out of the back end of a truck. I'm out partying, drinking, not wearing a seatbelt, doing stuff I should have been doing. You know, so any time I started that frustration, feeling bad, all I had to do was say, hey, you know, think about her and what she's doing. I'm hoping she's still alive. I don't know. I've had no contact since then, but she was a huge motivator, whether or not she knows it or not, but she was. I try to focus on the positive, and I tell that I've been asked to speak to a lot of different groups and do things. I try to encourage focusing on the positive, not the negative. We all have, it's free choice. I mean, we can focus on what's good, or we can focus on what's bad. If we all focus on what's bad, yeah, it's going to make for a miserable life. But you know, you just focus on the good. I mean, we've got reserved parking now wherever we go. Usually pretty close, good spots, good, you know, up close, good parking. I've got a seat wherever I go. I mean, I'm in my chair. You know, I've got a seat anywhere I go. You get on airplanes first. I mean, come on, I don't get to fly. I mean, I don't fly that much, but the few times I've gone, hey, you get on the plane first. You can repeat rides at Disney. You don't have to exit. You can ride 2 or 3 times and not even have to get off. I mean, hey, you know, it's the good stuff you got to focus on.
In the area I live at, our handicap parking, disabled parking, you know, like you said, is up front, close as can be. And sometimes my police officers like it so much I catch them parking in it.
Exactly.
So I say that kiddingly because I haven't seen any in a long time. But when I first got hurt, I did see that. And back then we didn't have cell phones and cameras and be able to take. So, but and so yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time. But when I first got injured, yeah, but yeah, we didn't have all those fancy phones and take pictures and videos and everything like that. All right, Mike.
But let me hold on. I got one.
Go ahead.
One last thing.
Yes, go ahead.
And I tried to share this with my children, and it's a song. I don't know if you've heard of it. I'm not a big country fan myself, but it's I Hope You Dance by Lee. And talks about, you know, don't take when one door closes, another opens. I mean, there's just all sorts of good lines in there, and try to encourage my children to do that as well as myself. It's a lot easier said than done, and I try. I mean, every time I listen to that song, I start thinking, my eyes water up. I mean, it's truly the way I look at that. It's truly just motivational, and don't sit back. I mean, just get out there. Life is short. It's a blessing for all of us, and we never know how long it's going to take or how long we're going to be blessed with breathing, whatever. But you just got to grab it and go, man. You never know unless you try. And so what if you tried to mess up? You never know unless you try. Might be great.
Yesterday you had W. Mitchell, and one of the things he said, another speaker had heard him say, enjoy the scenic route, because very rarely you're going to get a straight path in life. You're going to be kicked off the curb somewhere. It's going to be something going on that's going to get you off trail. So enjoy the scenic route while you're going through there. So, all right. And Jan wants to leave you with a positive note. You done knocked her out of the park. He says, I'm a second baseman. We're not allowed to knock it out of the park.
Too bad. Thank you, Jan.
So, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Mike, for coming in and helping us today. And again, with Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month in September. We'll be coming back again tomorrow. We have another one. But then going from there. Again, hey, Jelly Duck, thank you for coming in. Jan, Nancy, and John, thank y'all for coming in. Anybody else that comes back for the replay later on, be sure to give me a little 5-star. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll beg for it. Put a little 5-star right there and give me a comment or whatnot. Hey, everybody, do something today, tomorrow, something next week that's going to help you persevere past your paralysis.